Thanks for attending to this talk. This is also an English talk. And the talk will be about combining automated and manual testing. And this morning there was this guy. You can recognize him easily. He's got a big beard. He's called Hilary. And he told us there's no such thing like manual testing. So I got a kind of a problem here. But let's look at this again. And one of the arguments he used was there's no such thing like manual programming. Is there a programmer in the room, by the way? There are some programs. Can I ask you, did you ever do exploratory programming? No. Oh, sorry, Hilary, there's no such thing like exploratory testing. There was another one. Did you ever do performance programming? Yeah, you did. Maybe a little. So there's only a little bit of performance testing. Okay. There was a third one. Did you ever do stress programming? And I don't mean stressed programming, but stress programming. Mostly stress programming. So I think the fact that there's no such thing like manual, I should not have crossed this line, sorry, it was in the script. The fact that there's no such thing as manual programming doesn't mean there's no such thing as manual testing. We have our own vocabulary, we have our own words to talk about things, and in my humble opinion, Hilary, there is something like manual testing. I hope I have made that clear. My name is Jaap Cannegieter. There's nobody in this room that can pronounce my name right, but that's no problem because I cannot pronounce your names either. I've got here my personal data. Normally I don't introduce myself at the start of a talk because I think the talk is more interesting than I am. And I say, please go to LinkedIn, but that seems to be a kind of a problem here. So I'll introduce me anyway. I got over 23 years of experience in IT. I programmed for about 3 months. And there was this day I was programming in Pascal, which is not used very much anymore. But I was in the train and I was looking back on my day and I spent the whole day finding a dot, which should have been a dot comma. And I thought, how fast can I get away from here? It took me about a month and then I found testing, and I love testing. It's really great. So I've done testing, test management, doing test consultancy now. I work at the firm Squarist. I'm sorry it's this big, but that's company policy or something like that. And I'm doing there different things like delivering courses, consultancy work, coaching others, etc. And my best days is when I'm invited to a bug hunt and I can test. That actually is the most fun part of my job. We are going to talk about Robocop. I'm going to talk about bugs on the Heisenbug website. I'm going to talk about playing chess. And I'm going to talk about falling in love with a robot. Is that what you expect me to talk about? Yeah? Yeah, oh great. Yeah, then we have set the right expectations. So I'm a tester, I want to know the expectations up front. So this is what we're going to talk about. Is there a need to have both manual and automated testing? Or can't we combine it into one? Is there a difference? And I think yes, I think there is a huge difference between what I call manual testing and automated testing. And it's got to do with things you can automate and cannot automate. I think you all know the story of this tester that doesn't want to do something for the third or fourth time. And also the boring stuff like put in this data and then check if this outcome comes out. We should automate that, but there are things you cannot automate. I think Hilary already told that quite well, but there's something like human logic. There's something like usability, understandability. A robot, a program, cannot tell if something is understandable up until now. So we cannot automate that. We still need human eyes, we still need human brains. By the way, I forgot to tell one thing about the great opening keynote by Ilari. I counted 23 things you said where we agree, and one thing where we disagree. And we spent about 2 hours yesterday discussing, and we spent about 2 minutes about the things we agree, and we spent about 2 hours on the things we didn't agree. So we agree on most things except this manual testing thing. Yes, we need manual testers for exploration, for experimentation, to see how, to feel how a system feels, to know how things work. But the algorithmic logics, the regression, which is boring, process testing, you can't do without automation. So yes, we need automated testing, automations, and we need manual testers. It's a difference between experimentation and checking. And you can see in the job description that there are really two different persons here at stake. It's the manual tester and the automated tester. And the manual tester has, generally spoken, a very business orientation. They know the business processes, they know how the user works, etc. While the test automation specialist has more a technical orientation. The manual tester knows their test design techniques. And we did two tryouts before this conference with the conference organizers. And there was something strange. Both times they asked me, what are test design techniques? Who knows what test design techniques are? That's, I think, about 30%. In my humble opinion, I think test design techniques is really basic knowledge for every tester, also for test automation specialists. Where I work, test cases don't come falling out of the sky. So you have to generate test cases, you have to get test cases. And test design techniques help you to make the best set of test cases available, apart from the experimentation part. Anyway, the test automation specialists have their tool knowledge. Manual testers are more process-minded. Automated testers are know more about programming languages. I don't say they talk Java, but I think they may be dreaming in Java. Is this true, or? I see some people laughing. I take this as a yes. Manual testers are, generally spoken, more focused on soft skills, interviewing, getting the ideas about the process from the users, etc. The test automation specialists focus more on hard skills. And the last one, analytical thinking versus system thinking, is also something that deviates a manual tester for a test automation specialist. And well, the organizers asked me to give some examples of test design techniques. Already said that, in my opinion, my humble opinion, it's basic knowledge for every tester, no matter if it's a manual tester or someone in the test automation area. So, in case, start commercial quote, there are quite a lot of things on this sheet that are unknown to you. Maybe you could hire someone from somewhere, maybe from outside of Russia, to give you a course, to learn you this stuff, and maybe you know someone, huh? And I'll teach you that. I think Moscow is great. It's an impressive city, so I would love to come back. Yes, that's true. End commercial quote. I will not do any other commercial quotes. One thing I would like to emphasize is that people who try to combine manual testing and test automation in one person are not thinking in the right direction, in my opinion. Everything I say is my opinion. There's no such thing like the truth. And, well, you know Robocop. I think not the best example of culture from America, but okay, works here. The essence of Robocop is that he's half human, half robot. So we saw this picture from this woman and this robot, and can we combine it? Hey, we got Robocop. But hey, let's be clear about this. Robocop is made up in some basement somewhere in Hollywood. And everything that's made up in basements in Hollywood is normally too good to be true. So there's no thing like Robocop. They made it up for the movie. But there is no Robocop, so stop searching for it. Suppose you have a test team of at least 2 testers. I would like to find someone with really good manual testing skills and someone with really good test automation skills. And I showed you that these skills are really different. So if you try to combine it into one person, you get someone with moderate testing, manual testing skills and moderate test automation skills. I don't think that's not the best test team around. So don't try to find Robocop. Try to find the best manual tester and the best test automation specialist you can find. Well, this is my opinion. I'm not the only one. Last week, actually this week, I was at Agile Testing Days in Berlin. I felt a bit like a spy. This week I was in Amsterdam, Berlin, and Moscow. I don't know which books you read, but all spies in the books I read come in these cities. But well, actually in Berlin, they came with the myth of the full stack tester. And he meant much more than just combining manual and automated testing. But he also mentioned that combining these 2 skills into one person is not a good idea. So I put the details there on the screen so that you can find this presentation if you want to. Don't try to find Robocop. We've got Robocop. 3 left. Some people, they say, yeah, you got testers who use tools, and you got testers who don't use tools. I would say the last, and some people mix up the last kind of testers with manual testing. But of course, manual testers use tools. I consider myself more a manual tester than a test automation specialist. And suppose, is Andre in the room? No? Suppose he would ask me to test the Heisenbug website. Would I do it manually by just clicking around? The first thing I would going to do is use a tool. Well, and at the same time I say to myself that I'm a manual tester. I would probably go to this website, freetools.webmasterworld.com. Great website. If you've never been there, go there. It's super. And the first thing I would do is Heisenbug. Already did this. So we're going to do some live testing here. And this testing really makes me tired. It's really hard work. The sweat is on my back, and oh my, haven't found any bugs yet. It's actually quite boring, this part. At home it was faster. Oh, there. External error. So we got a bug. Maybe. Not sure yet. Oh, external redirect. 5 external links. That doesn't sound like bugs. Should have been ready by now. But if it takes too long, I go back to the... Oh yeah, it's 2 external errors. As you can see, manual testing is really with your hands on the keyboard. 3, 2, so we've got 5 bugs by now, haven't we? And 1 internal error. That's interesting. I believe this internal error wasn't there last week. So I don't know what's going to happen now. We're about ready. Last time it was 303, so I think I go down already. And here we found a list of the outcomes. Nice, huh? A tool. Oh, I have to analyze it, of course. Sorry. Oh, yes, we're ready. We also see the limitation of tools here, because it tells me something, but I still need my brains, I still need my manual testing skills to analyze it. This is a 501. A 501 means that there's probably a redirect, and this target doesn't allow you to use web crawlers. So I check it manually, and well, I've got no idea what it says, but it looks good. And it can't go any further probably because of this. He knows there is something behind here, behind this email password, but he can't come there. So he notifies me that there may be a bug, but I don't think this is a bug. This is a 301, it's a redirect, and maybe someone hijacked us. Well, again, I got no idea what I'm looking at. But someone told me that this is actually no bug. 408, this could be a bug. So something with 4 could be a bug. So let's see what happens. And it's redirected here in this. No, it's not a redirect. Let me go to this part. 408 is a request timeout. It took too much time, but I pressed it, and yeah, it's still doing something, but it looks good to me. So no bug. 301, 501. Is there gonna be any? Yeah, we got a 404. We found a bug. Is the programmer of this thing of this website in the room? He just left. Sorry. I don't make friends over here. But 404 is of course a dead link. So let's see. And it turns out to be the registration link. I think someone removed the registration link and forgot to remove the link. So yeah, we got a bug here, but not that bad. Of course, only be happy when you find a bug when the programmer is not around. You know, when you got it, it feels good. I'm a tester, sorry. There are no other bugs here. So yes, this is how I would start testing the Heisenbug website. And yeah, we found a bug. So am I ready testing? What about the human logic? What about the understandability? What about the usability? Doesn't say anything. So yes, we still need to do some testing here on the Heisenbug website. And I will first go to the English version, and I will see that it works pretty well, actually. I think it's a great website. Yeah, we found a bug, but no. So yes, manual testers use tools, and I hope a lot, actually. You will find the details about this live demo. It worked in the sheets, and this was from yesterday, and everything green. It was not a bug, and bingo, we found a bug. And analyzing is still a manual part. I make a distinction between supporting tools that makes your work easier and test automation tools. In my opinion, the difference is that in test automation tools, there are test cases which were derived somewhere earlier in time, and they are executed, but they're specific test cases. And tools like these, and it's an endless line of tools here available for you. They don't execute specific test cases. They could execute something that looks like a test case, like I just demoed. But of course, you use tools to manipulate data. I don't know how to manipulate data other than using tools. Of course, you use tools to make notes. Also mentioned by Larry, very important to make good notes. And I use tools for that. Personally, I like Rapid Reporter very much. And of course, I use mind map software. Suppose that you make a test script up front. I'm not a fan of making test scripts up front. I think most of the time you could do better than making your test scripts up front. But suppose you have to. I don't use Word anymore. I use mind maps for my test specification, and it helps me much more with my preparation and testing. And these are some examples. I should have put the 3 dots below here as well. Forgot that, sorry. which are, in my humble opinion, specific test automation tools. I make that difference, and there, of course, there's a gray area between these two. We can discuss that very long, but there's a difference for me. One question for you. What do you think is the most important tool for manual testers? Yeah, the brain. Absolutely. The mind. Sorry? You took everything away. At this moment, I wanted to ask, is there anyone having a problem with the statement that the most important tool for manual testers is the brain? And then I hoped that someone like you would say, oh, there's also count for test automation specialists. Of course, the brain is our most important tool we have. So yes, thank you. You're absolutely right. We agree on this one. Sorry? Yeah, you need your fingers, you need your eyes. Those are quite important too. Ears would be nice. And you need your mouth to get coffee. So there are some side tools you also need. Absolutely right, yeah. Yeah. Most important question of this talk. How can manual testers support automated testing? Because we should not drift these two apart. Maybe we should try to get them closer. How can manual testers support test automation? And try to make a kind of short model. Every model was wrong. This model was also wrong, but it can help us. Suppose we have manual and automated testing in your project. You will buy a tool, and we will develop a strategy. And the first thing you are going to do is derive test cases. Every tool, as far as I know, no exception here, will ask, what's your test case? Maybe by keywords, if you do keyword-driven testing. Maybe by, I want to record your test case, so please execute it and I'll record it. Maybe by programming language, like we saw on the presentation by Anton Anglov, if I say it right, with SpecFlow or with C# or anything. But you need to have test cases. And I always thought that when you have a test case, an automation specialist can automate it immediately. And I talked to some of the test automation specialists within our company, and they said, no. We're first going to execute it because I want to know if the test case is right. And I thought, yeah, that seems logical to me. So the second thing you're going to do is execute it and analyze the outcome. So we're still not in test automation here. And here comes the trick. I think that a manual test session is never over before you had a subset of your test cases ready for automation. And you hand them over to the test automation specialist. And I think when you do good manual testing, when you do good exploratory testing, or you do good experimentation, etc., you do more test cases than you will automate. So a subset of the manual test cases will be automated, and you will have to deliver them in some way. That a test script is an option, but there are more options to the test automation specialists. And I know that there are some tools. Oh yeah, by the way, then you have your manual and automated scripts, and you can go to your next test session and do your regression test. And I know there are some tools that want to make it possible to make your manual script and automate it immediately before you automate it by hand. But like I said, all the test automation specialists I spoke with in my organization said that they want to execute it by hand first. And of course, you got the second wheel of improving your tool and your test strategy, and it goes on and on. So we've got this automated testing with the woman and the test automation specialist, the robot. Which one would you like to be, by the way, on this picture, the woman or the robot? Yeah. That's why I picked women. The robot can be replaced by the same one, and the woman can never be replaced by the same one, isn't it? But what can the manual tester do for the test automation specialist? They can deliver test cases for automatic regression test set, and they can also transfer knowledge of test design techniques and coverage. I've seen quite some regression test sets that sounded very impressive, but were not that good. A couple of months ago, I was at this client site, and they said, we have a regression test set of 300 test cases. Isn't that good? And I knew they were using Tosca. You don't have to know Tosca to understand this example, but it's a keyword-driven tool, and I like it very much. And I know that by the time you have 300, it takes about 2 days to make it to 3,000. It's quite easy, actually. You won't test any extra functional path, but the number doesn't say me anything. And we dived into this 300, regression test set of 300 test cases, and we found out that over 100, about 120 something, they triggered something, but there was no they never found out if the answer was right. So open this page, and there was no moment that they were actually making sure that the page was opening. So about 120 test cases could be thrown away. Manual testers analyzed this set, and they said, well, we have got quite some functional path who are not tested with these 300 test cases. The number doesn't tell me anything. It's about coverage, and for that you use your test design techniques. What can the test automation specialist do for the manual tester? Suppose we're at the end of a release, and I want to have, as a manual tester or a test manager, I want to have a regression test set available every moment of the day. So don't come to me when I ask you for the regression test set, yeah, we have to do something, so it will take a week. No, I want it now. Maybe it's not complete, then I want to know which parts are not in the regression test set, so I can test it manually, but it needs to be available all the time. And yeah, these test automation specialists, I love these, mostly they're guys, but if they're women, I also love them, because they come up with all these fancy tools that help me. So come with your suggestions. I love that. So at the end, you're playing on the same board, and in this picture goes wrong because they're playing against each other, and they should play the same game for the same goals and help each other. They're different, they have different skills, but if we work for the same goal, that really helps. So this manual tester delivers a set of test cases to the test automation specialist, and he can record and play back it. So let's check if that's going to work. I'm going to give a second live demo. Live demos on a conference is, of course, a risk. So I thought, let's go for the risky business. Let's do two live demos. The worst thing that can happen is that I will never be invited for this conference again. And someone is calling me. It's fun, actually. I will show you a live demo. And we're at an organization which makes basically a web shop. Everybody knows a web shop. You're looking not at a real application, you are looking at a test application. This is built for test purposes only. So we're not testing in production. And we are at an organization with where budgets are low, so we take a free tool, we take Selenium EDI. And I got this test case, and in this test case I need to empty the card without ordering, so without any order, so bring it back to 0. And sorry. So I got this test case, and now recording. Sorry, untitled. Anyway, click to record. I start recording, and you're wondering what the password is, but you will see it within 2 or 3 minutes. in the test case. Okay, there are no items in the cart, so I have to enter items. So I go to the shop, and well, like this CD. I don't like this American Sniper movie. It's not that fun. Oh, and for my wife, I also add here something. Okay, so everything is set now to clear the cart. So I go here, and how do I do? Oh, wait a minute. This quantity. Let's put that on 0. Update cart. Yeah, it's empty. So I'm happy. I can log out now and bring it back. And I did my test case. Let's look at Selenium. And well, here's the test case. And let's execute it. And as you can see, oh, sorry. It will work. It's going a bit slow, actually. Ooh. Oh yeah, it was already recording something, sorry. The card is currently empty. The second demo didn't go the way I wanted it to go. Something went wrong here. Anyway, my question is, suppose I'm going to automate my tests this way. So by getting the test case, record it, play it back. What goes wrong in this test project? Everything. Could you name one thing? Yeah, more specific, please. Maintainability of the tests will be really worse. Yeah. Why? Why can they break at any time? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You will have this. Okay, okay. You surpassed me on the right. I can't really follow it, but I believe you. Hilary. Yeah. Yeah. I'm using the UI to test the backend actually of this website. So yeah, it will be really worse if you do it like this. Suppose that we saw this. Go back to gift shop. And you saw this login screen, and suppose something changes in this login screen, and it got username or email, and we put away email, then probably every test case, which will be recorded like this, will go wrong, because there's one thing changed. That's not very practical. Getting your test data by the user interface is also not very practical. You can better upload it and maybe use the website for the actual testing. So please do not automate a script which you will do by hand. As you saw, the manual script was login, enter 2 items, delete 2 items, see what that they disappeared, and in an automated script. For the login, you would make one script and reuse it every time. If something changed in the login, change it in this script. The test data, it's easier to upload them on the back end or use production data, but Rux Black said a lot about it about an hour ago. And this is actually the test, what it was all about, and that's only one part, 1/3 of the manual test. So you have to do it differently. The manual test actually has 3 goals. So in manual testing, that would be 1 script, but in automated testing, that would be 3 scripts. So yes, there needs to be done extra work after you done the manual testing, and you will have to work on the script here, and that will take extra time. Okay, so they are really different. And oh, I see some people liking this picture actually, but I hope it will not be the future actually. That these manual testing and test automation are really two different things, but can't we combine them? Are there no tools which are operated by these test automation specialists? That would be great. But where the manual testers can do their work easily in the tool, that are so accessible, usable, understandable, that we really start to integrate. And how can we let them more grow together? I think very important for every tester is job rotation. If you're a manual tester, please do test automation for, let's say, 3 months or something. If you're a test automation specialist, maybe you should do manual testing for 3 months. I sat this in a room with 5, 6 test automation specialists with who I made this presentation. And they almost got a heart attack, all 6 of them. 3 months manual testing? Oh. Okay, a month, a year, every year 1 month or so. Every year, it's really good to see the process done by others. Don't lock yourself in your own container. Look outside. Do job rotation. It makes you a better tester. Do pairing. Sit together. Hey, the way you are doing this manual testing, if you do it that way or report it this way, it would be good for me. And the other way, if you're automating this test this way, it would be nice if, etc. So do pairing. And yes, test automation specialists should know the business. And I know some, thank you. I know some people who are test automation specialists and who are working for a governmental organization, and they don't know the laws or the regulations they are automating in the project. This is really bad, I think. You should know the business, no matter what. And yeah, you should know these test design techniques. I'm not going to do the commercial quote again, I've already done that, but yes, you should know test design techniques. But the manual testers should get to know the tools. And I've done this course 2 days, telling me how the basics of Tosca work. It's not really my thing, but I struggled my way through, and it helped me a lot to understand the way test automation specialists work, at least with Tosca. And manual testing should have basic knowledge of programming. Yeah, I do have basic knowledge of Pascal, which is not used anymore. So next year I'm going to do a course of JavaScript. Am I shouting, wow, I'm going to do a course in JavaScript? No, but it's good for my knowledge. So yes, I do it. So essentially, manual testers have to embrace test automation, and automated test automation specialists, I should have changed this sentence, should embrace business processes and test design techniques. And maybe we can grow together. And are there then maybe tools that can help us to grow together more and to integrate our processes? And with these colleagues of mine, we had a big whiteboard and we put all kinds of tools on it, and to see what was the best tool to use if you want to integrate manual and automated testing. And we came on this functionality, test functionality and technical complexity, and we plotted some tools there. Well, first, Selenium EDI. Yeah, it's that doesn't make me happy. No. Functionality is low, technical complexity really low. It's so easy to learn. You can learn it in, well, let's say an hour or so. But it doesn't help you very much. SOAP UI, which is a bit more technical complex. You can only test web services with it, XMLs. For XML testing, I think it's really good for web service testing, but there's no other functionality. Gmeter, performance testing. Yeah, it can do more than performance testing, but stays to performance testing. But it gets technical, quite complex. I did this course on Gmeter, and I don't have the idea that I can really use it after this course. Microfocus, I don't know Microfocus, but it seems to be quite a good tool, which is somewhere in the middle. ECAT for SAP, very complex, but you can only use it in an ABAP situation, so SAP. And yeah, personally my favorite, Tosca, and I thought you can do everything with Tosca. And then someone showed me some other tools, and then I thought, okay, it's still limited. So HP, also quite fun. By the way, I think now I promised my daughter to make a picture. She couldn't understand that I would talk for a room full of people, so say hi. Thank you. WebDriver, already much better, but I've seen people do things with WebDriver and I got no clue what they were doing. But it looked a bit like magic. And in our opinion, it's the opinion of six test automation specialists and one manual testing specialist, happens to be me. We think Cucumber had got the most functionality. I see some people nodding, so. But it's really complex. You have to know spec flow, C#, not sure if C#, but it's really complex. So you cannot think of, yeah, thank you. The manual tester, for most manual testers, Cucumber is far too complex, and WebDriver, and somehow I see a line in it, and starts left bottom, ends right at the top. So no, there's no tool with low technical complexity and really high functionality. This is an opinion of some people, so we can discuss if some things would be somewhere else, but we did not find this ultimate tool that will help people to manual testers and test automation specialists to join together. So at the end of the day, the combination has the future. The combination of both manual testing and test automation. And for that you need different people, and they need to work together. I don't know how he makes fire out of his thumb, but you know, I know there's more about test automation specialists that I don't understand. If you have to choose, you need to have a minimum, in my opinion, a minimum of knowledge of both test automation and manual testing, but make sure you're really good in one of those areas, in one thing. So specialize with, based on a broad knowledge, essentially the T-shaped professional. So my advice, everything on this sheet is, I already said it, so I'm not going to repeat it. But there are quite some photos in the presentation, and not everything, not every advice was on the sheet. So you can download the sheets and you can see it afterwards. There's one final thought, and it should not have come immediately on the screen. And there's this airplane that flew from London to somewhere in South America. Can't remember where. And it went down, it crashed. And they analyzed why, and that were the pilots knew something was going wrong, but they relied on their computers. And they said, the computers will save this, and the computers didn't save them. So they crashed. And that was later became known as the automation paradox. The automation paradox is the more efficient the automated system, the more crucial the human contribution. Humans are less involved, but their involvement becomes more critical. So yes, we need automation, but we still need humans, we still need these manual testers who exist to do a real good job. This is my opinion, but more people have this opinion. I found in the last 2 weeks only 2 tweets. One by a guy I don't know, Neil Killick. Automation is not a goal. An automation engineer will expect it to automate all things, but what about the things we shouldn't? And maybe the second one by David Evans, which is a really great guy, I know him quite well. Automation makes things faster, not better. If any actions or directions are poor, then faster is worse. I think a brilliant tweet. And I also think it's a good moment to end this and according to Google Translate, I don't take any responsibility. It says questions. Is that right? Yeah, okay. Are there any questions? There's a question. The programmer, the performance programmer, wasn't it?
Could you please explain what you disagree about with the keynote? Because I didn't find any point of disagreement.
Yeah, we agreed on 23 points. Ilari said that there was no such thing as manual testing. Did you say that there was no such thing as manual testing? Let's go to the source.
Okay, well, kind of, yes. Predominantly, it's a mislabel, but what I'm saying is that the manual aspect is not of importance, it's the use of the brain. And what I claim is that there is a spectrum. But I still need to say that there are a couple more things that we now disagree on, which is cool. But just know, Jan Job and I, we get along really well, but we disagree, which is a good thing. And I hate Tosca. Sorry.
Okay. Well, the good thing about conferences is that you talk about the disagreements you have, but always respectful. And thank you for always being respectful, Ilari, and we'll always try to be that. So that was the disagreement. No? No, okay. Maybe we can have a beer later. So, I think he wants to have this beer. Okay. Any other questions? I will be around. You got my email. It was on the first one. If there are no other questions, I can understand it at this time of day. I would like to thank you for your attention and all the best. Thank you.